Hello, chat. It's me, iTheDashy. We're gonna be doing a live commentary, which is something that we haven't done in a really long time. We're gonna be playing a game that I've never uploaded or even streamed before, but I've been playing a lot off stream. We're gonna be playing the Bazaar, which I picked up about a month ago. It is, if you don't know anything about it, it's basically like a kind of a mix between like Slay the Spire, TFT kind of thing. An auto battler, but with cards.
It's probably closer to Hearthstone Brawl, but you wouldn't know anything about Hearthstone Brawl.
Yeah, I've never played Hearthstone. So anyway, I picked up this game about a month ago. The person that got me into the game is the person you just heard. That was Nicole Skyvane. That if you ever actually watched my streams, hint hint, iTheDashy, twitch.television, this person shows up sometimes. But this is Nicole, and she's going to be here to help me fill the air. So hello, Nicole.
Hey, sup?
Hey, sup? Anyway, so we are going to play a game. We're going to talk about the game and what's going on, and try to talk about like our thoughts of like what we're looking at. Yeah, let's just kind of get started. I'm going to play a normal game. Normal games are free to play. Ranked games require a ticket. Tickets are up here. You get a free one every day, but basically I am bad at the game. There's 3 characters. I only have Vanessa and Dooley. I'm going to play Dooley because I'm also bad at the game, and I don't want to, have a dead run right off the bat by trying to play Vanessa and not hitting one of the like 5 items that are worth running. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so right here, I'm gonna move my model ever so slightly. So anyway, here's what we've got on the UI. We have basically the idea is that if you want to win, you need to get 10 victories. When you get those victories is irrelevant. It could be the first 10 days, or it could be all the way up till usually I think the 15th is the technical maximum that it could be, maybe 16. So every day, at the end of the day, when this clock goes all the way through all of these hours, you will do a PvP fight of a ghost of someone else's board. And if you lose it, you will lose prestige based on the day. So on day 1, you would lose 1 prestige. If you get all the way down to 1 prestige, I think. No, you actually have to get down to 0. If you get all the way down to 0, you trigger what's called like Last Breath. And it gives you like 1 final upgrade and keeps you at 1 HP. If you die again, or if you lose again, then you lost. So basically the idea is as the game goes on, everybody gets way stronger, and you kind of want to just close out as fast as possible. So you start out, we've got a few slots on our board that we can fill. That's this rug, and then we get a workshop of sorts of whatever character you're playing. So since we're playing Dooley, you have Dooley's workshop. Dooley's kind of unique in that he will always get a core. Other characters will get something that is just part of their unique pool, and it will be a silver tier item. These are all bronze. So the core here is kind of like the most basic bitch version of any of the cores. But the primary idea behind all of Dooley's items, except for the companion core, is that you place an item to the left of the core if you want it to charge the core. Charging literally will jump the cooldown up a full second in this case. There's another proc called Haste, which will double the charging speed. Not charging, like, I guess you would call it charging. I don't know. It basically means that the clock on it will tick faster for that amount of time. Important distinction. Anyway, so there's this one, which will give weapons to the right more damage, and then this one gives shield items to the right more shield. We're gonna go with this one because this one's a very stable core. Kind of functions perfectly fine on its own. And now we get to the first main gameplay loop of Bazaar. You have these things called shops. Each one, or events, I guess, is more accurate. And you get 3 random ones that'll show up. And depending on what you're running, you might want something different. Curio is something that sells junk items that if you buy them, you can sell them back to gain value on an item, basically. Everything is kind of expensive there. Not expensive individually, but you kind of go there to waste money. We don't have a lot of money, obviously, because we just started. So there's two other options here that we can kind of look at, which is Lost and Found, get a small non-weapon item, or you can go to the Lost Crate, which is what we're going to do. Lost Crate gives us two options. Gives us an option of either get a small or medium item just for free, or you can gain 2 gold in 1 experience. One thing we haven't talked about is experience here. So every hour that passes, you gain 1 experience. In order to level up, you need to get all 8 experience. So as you can count here, there's 6 hours in a day, oddly enough, and 8 experience points are needed. So if you want to level up before your first PvE, you need 2 bonus experience. So what we're going to do is we're going to take return the crate for a couple extra gold and 1 extra XP. Now we get a PvE fight that we get to take. All of these fights here can actually be beaten without running a single item. But we're going to run the core just because, but it'll give you an idea of how the actual combat of the game will look. So I think, what do you think? Do you think we should take kimono or Inglet?
I think the kimono gives you the better option. Getting the scrap is going to be good for your core to start with if you don't get anything else. But you also have the option of getting the scarf out of this, which would be a neat little medium item to fill a slot with.
Yeah. So the main idea is when you pick your PvE fight, each one has its own items and skills that they can give. And upon beating them, we'll just click on this since we've kind of made our decision. But you can get either the skill or any of the items that are on the board upon beating them.
It is random.
It is randomized, yes, but it is actually legitimately just 1/4 chance of all these items. It's not weighted in any way. So, this is a really boring fight, obviously, because all that's going to be happening is a bunch of shielding. Like I said, you can beat all of these fights on day 1 except for the Viper will fuck you up. Everything else can just be beaten with no items. So
you have to have an actual build to beat the Viper.
What we also just witnessed there is something called the Sandstorm. It's obviously the way that endless fights like these, where neither of us are damaging each other, are going to be ended. Basically what happens is the Sandstorm comes in and starts dotting us, kind of. It's not a dot, but it happens on every single tick of the game. And so we got the scrap, by the way. So, and the strength of the Sandstorm will kind of become stronger as more time goes on. So it's just supposed to destroy your board eventually.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the logic behind actually picking that fight. So obviously we've played this game plenty off stream. Because of that, we knew the kimono had mostly shield-related things, and therefore it was very likely that we got something that we could actually use, and there wasn't going to be like some weird thing we had to try and figure out. Yeah.
So then obviously we had a 50-50 chance of getting a scrap. So this is what loot items are typically referred to as. You have something like this where its only value is given from you selling it. This one, when you sell this, give your leftmost shield item 4 shield. We're going to just do that without even thinking about it. We got 4 extra shield on our armored core. So, we only have 1 item on our board. That's not good. We're gonna, upon entering this shop, we'll be at this hour of the day. And then we'll get 1 more event before PvE. So we should really think about getting something on our board. We are also not offered our 2nd XP point that we need to level. So we're gonna grab a weapon. Let's take a look at our options. We have the game-winning option. I'm just gonna take it. I'm just not even gonna think about it. I'm just gonna take it. But we're gonna grab these other things because we need something.
Yes.
So obviously we have 4 slots on our board right now while we're level 1. Upon leveling up to level 2, you do get the we get 2 extra board spaces and then 50 health. Or actually, it's 100 health. Apparently, I don't think that's correct.
Yes.
Is it 100?
It is 100.
Okay.
Yes.
So, next thing you could do when you're in this shop, you can hit the reroll button for 3 gold. We currently have 4 gold. That drops us down to 1. Small items cost 2 gold, so we wouldn't even have enough to buy that unless we were to sell laser pistol, which is the weaker of the 2 items we have. But we have one more shop anyways. So we're gonna probably just leave this encounter. Oh, and there we go. Look, we don't even need to worry about it. Okay, so we have this event right here is one of the other events that will give you XP. Our other option here is get a small burn item. This is any small burn item in Dually. Is it in your own pool or no? Do you know?
Yeah, that's something that should be touched on. Each of the characters has their own unique pool of items they can get. There are ways to get items from other characters' pools, but for the most part, when you see generic get an item options like that, it pulls specifically from your character's pool. So in this case, this would be a burn item that is specifically listed as tagged for Dually.
Yeah,
exactly.
which he has a number of, but we're not really too worried about that right now. We actually already have our win condition, which is kind of funny to say, even like because we're literally on day 1, but it's pretty funny. Our other option here is Andy for small items. Really good shop in general for Dually, but we just don't need it right now because we need our 1 XP. We come into here with the strange mushrooms, and there are 3 options. You can either gain a random skill. These slots down here are where skills are held, but this is just a literal random one, and it could just be something super junk. You could sell the mushrooms for anywhere between 2 to 4 gold. We don't really care about that. We get our 1 XP. We level up before the board, or before our PvE fight, and we get 1 level up option as well. So we have 2 sharpening stones we can get. We can get 3 loot items. We don't care about these extracts, which will give poison. You can get a shield item, which is something we could think about. Or 2 scrap, which is plus shielding. Now, like I said, we could think about possibly, yeah, don't worry about the UI kind of messing up sometimes. This is a game that's in early access, by the way. So yeah, I think we're actually in a good spot here. I think we just go for scrap.
Scrap is fine. Loot items could have also been fine. Looking for the feathers to give cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
One thing to mention when you say early access, this game is not on Steam. You have to go find it on Tempest's website.
Yeah. So here is the PvE section of the game. Oh, by the way, if this is something that interests you, there's little clicky things you can do on all of the boards. Anyway, this is the PvE or PvP section. This is not a live character, but it is a ghost of a character that this is what their board looked like at the end of day 1. Upon us playing against this person, we will be taking their place in the pool of ghosts that people could run into. And their ghost disappears forever. So Joey Razorburn, say goodbye to your day 1 pig existence, because we'll probably wipe it out. Okay, so what is he running?
Empty
Nothing.
board.
Literally nothing. Okay, I was looking. Is this a bug? No, this is the first time I've ever seen this. This is literally the first time I've seen this before. That's awesome.
Why though?
So this pig is level 2 because he had 350 HP.
No.
Wait, doesn't he start with 300? Also, I did only get 50 HP, by the way.
Oh, yeah. You did only get 50. That means he only got 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he starts at 300.
Yeah. So pig is the tank character, I guess you would call him. He starts at 300 HP, and on level up, obviously, still gets 50. But all of his like items in his pool are way more related to gaining health, econ related things. Just overall, much more. We're going to lick it, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
But that's the other thing we were kind of touching on with these other items that you can, or the other item pools. Like every other character has their own pool of items that might facilitate a different type of playstyle. Julie has many types of playstyles, really, facilitated by his different cores. Right now, on this current patch, there's really only a couple that you really see. And this is because this is a patch where Monitor Lizard is the, well, let's just say we should ask where Monitor Lizard was on 9/11.
We're gonna figure out some answers about why those steel beams were melted so funny. That's all I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. So, because
Yeah.
we're ahead of the EXP curve, we should not be required to take EXP again in order to get a level up before PvE fights. I think, question mark. Not entirely sure. But we don't really care too much about Andy, like what he's selling, because there's like a couple small items, really. Like, I'm trying to think, but there's not really a lot that we care about here. So I think we're actually just gonna go to the Jungle Ruins. You can do two things as Dooley. You can either study the site or gain max health. And as you might have figured out from our day 1 hours, you just kind of want to get XP. This game is like very EXP heavy. If you can gain a bunch of EXP and be ahead in levels, it's really strong. We cannot greed. I don't think there's a way we can run our super syrup right now. By the way, so we went into Lickit's shop and we didn't talk about what that was. Lickit is a unique shop that sells these items that will, they have like an ammo. That's the thing on the bottom here. And you can also see on the tooltip, this is ammo, how many charges it has. Every time it goes off, adjacent items will gain 1% crit. You can get 10 total charges on it. Of course, it takes up 2 slots on your board, is the big downside to it. And it does nothing aside from providing that value to you. You want to really be running these in the PvE fights, if you can. Anyway, she's the only shop that sells really something like this, though it's supposed to be like a temporary usage. But crit chance is really, really good here. We also didn't even talk about what Force Field does. So what Force Field does is it does damage equal to the shielding that you currently have. That also means it applies the shield first and then the damage afterwards. Worth mentioning. Shield Core giving this more shielding, meaning that it's technically going to hit harder upon every activation. Now we have actually explained the engine behind our build. So we're gonna go to Coconut Crab here. Coconut Crab has this thing. It says, first time you fall below half health, each fight, shield equal to 20% of your max health. Anything that's going to give us more shielding is kind of what we're looking for right now, just because it amplifies our damage even more. As you can see, as we start getting more shielding on, this number grows. Is the main idea. And our Uzi is over here because every time the Uzi goes off, this thing gets charged by 1 second. Hard shell, pretty nice. Definitely can't complain about it. We will be leveling up next. What are we going to do with our 2 slots? This is when you start thinking about what you actually want to do with your full board. So, could just take more XP from the strange mushrooms. Not the worst thing to do, but we're gonna actually go and see what friends we can get.
Oh, Dooley, I'm so
There he is, the monitor lizard himself. What do you think he did?
I mean, look at him.
What do you think he was doing on January 6th?
I mean, look at that face.
It's really
Do you
cute.
think he could do anything bad?
Really cute. I all of the
solar panels.
All of the characters in Dooley's pool especially are really cute. They're mostly marked as friends. There's tags, which we didn't talk about, not relevant right now, but tags can be certain triggers, just like in a card game. We're gonna grab Chris Army Knife because he does something here. I think that's really the only thing we're gonna grab. We're not taking Monitor Lizard. We're not taking Ice 9000. No. Neither of these really do anything for us. So
not for us.
No. But Monitor Lizard is probably the strongest single item in the patch, or in the game on this patch right now. Not in the consistent way, but in the if it hits, this is kind of insane kind of way. And there's no real counter to the item upon hitting that. Okay, so we leveled up. We've got a bunch of options again. We could get... What are we going to get? Got a couple of really good options. Ancient shield items, nice. Core cooldown by 5% is also kind of nice, but we don't really care about that right now, while our core is bronze tier. So I think what we're actually just going to do is getting a shield item. Duct tape. Duct tape, every time you use an item next to this, it will shield 5. Awesome. That's good enough for me. We're going to take... And that's going to be... This is going to be what our items look like right now. Uzi goes off every 2 seconds, charging the core by 1 second, providing 5 shield. Chris Army Knife goes off every 5 seconds. You know, we're looking fine. I definitely can't complain about this. This event is called Mountain Pass. We might get rolled here, but maybe not, because we're pretty strong for day 1. You have a couple options here. You can either 2 gold and XP, gain 5 gold, or you can take a fight. This is it 1 day early? I don't think so. I think this was the... No. Yeah, this was the
You were literally
option.
offered this fight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the hard fight for day 2.
Yeah. But we should be able to take it on, I believe.
Yeah, it's the medium fight for day 3.
Yeah.
The reason why taking extra fights is a big deal is there's lots of stuff that will give you, whenever you fight, do this. But more importantly, fights give you extra gold and extra experience, so that if you can actually beat the fights, it puts you way ahead of the experience curve, which is fantastic. You also get very rich very quickly.
Yeah, so that fight was worth 5 gold and 3 XP, for instance. And, not to mention, it gave us a free item. This could be game winning. Sometimes later on you're going to see some fights in PvE they have unique items to those fights, and, you know, they could be pretty game changing if you actually get them. Barbed wire, if we don't really get anything of interest on our next fight, this is fine. We could run this, but otherwise it's not really great.
There's an argument it's better than Chris Army Knife here.
It probably honestly is, since we're running it over here.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably right. We're getting... It'll ramp faster than... I mean, this has no ramp, and it'll proc more often. Alright, so we're on day 2. Day 2, we're going to be fighting a Vanessa. Hopefully this one actually has items on the board. Might be a little bit more interesting. But now, again, our build is kind of coming together into something pretty strong. They've got a Lang Shen with 150 damage on it. Pretty strong. They also got duct tape from one of the fights. And they're just going to be burning us a little bit. There's the first hit of Lang Shen, but we've shielded so much it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it literally doesn't matter. This is a 10-second cooldown that grows basically in strength with every fight that you win, even if it's against PvE. This is likely, yeah, they started with this. Yeah, because it starts at 50. They would have lost one fight though.
No,
No? Oh no, because this was the
this would have been the 4th fight.
no, because they should have. Yeah, because so they should be at 200 already. Because they would PVE would put it up to 100. Winning day 1 would put it at 150. PVE again means 200. If they started with it,
I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, so again,
Or they didn't start with it.
or they didn't start with it. So we won that round pretty easily again. So we have a few options here. We'll probably just take Argenta for some silver tier skills. I don't really talk too much about skills yet. That is...
You've got two good options here.
Dude, it's just one. We're just taking big numbers. What do you mean?
I know, but technically speaking, that other option is good. It's just not as good.
Oh my lord, what is this fucking run? Okay, so
sometimes you hit.
Sometimes you just hit, I guess. So here's the main idea here. Here's like what's happening. This and Dually in general does not have a lot of ways to gain crit, but this is a big hitting item. This is like one-shot damage later on. And especially if we can get it to crit. Big numbers means this is a big item, and it's going to have 20% crit. 20% crit is a lot in this game. I mean, obviously it goes up to 100, but most items, as you can see, this one gives 1% crit at a time. So a huge chunk, 20% damage, or 20% crit, that's crazy. What do we want here? So what are we thinking for our medium slots? Or I mean, obviously we're gonna just be running super syrup instead of probably barbed wire Uzi.
So,
like, this is what our thing's probably gonna look like.
Until you can get like a lot of the instant shield that happens, stuff that does have just big shield numbers on it initially is good, or stuff that can scale up, like, you know, Brick Buddy.
Brick Buddy, yeah.
But outside of that, I don't know that there's too many. Well, there is security camera as well.
There is security Cameron. He's a friend.
It is not a friend. Do not confuse the new viewers.
Yeah, security camera does give crit chance to all shield items. Probably not the worst idea, but we're probably gonna steer clear of that for now and just look at what our skill options are. Might have something of interest here. Left eye is funny, but not good here. Deadly eye is pretty good. We're probably just gonna take deadly eye. It's not like it's the most amazing thing in the world, but it's 4% crit. We're adding to our counter and calling it good. Centric Aetheryte is what we'll end up taking here. She basically has a mirrored build to ourselves. Do we actually beat her? Do you think? Good question.
Maybe not with the duct tape. You need to put in the barbed wire. Because you need something to actually take her shield down, or power up your core.
Yeah, I'm gonna run
the barbed
Uzi
wire for
instead.
Yeah, Uzi works just to power the core more. Barbed wire would give you a secondary option that scales with shielding that wouldn't require you to hold onto your own shield.
Mm-hmm.
That's the two options you have to decide.
Yeah, the main thing is if we just don't chip away at her shield, we just lose. Like, she'll just two-shot us, basically. So let's take a look here. We are technically shielding more than she is dealing damage to us. So This is fucking
So-
cursed.
One of the things that actually happened there, and is important to note, is the shield itself critted, because more than just damage can crit in this game. Like, shield can crit, poison can crit, burn can crit. Like, crit is very important.
Yeah, crit is super important. Everything kind of interacts in a different way when it crits, but most importantly, we'll talk about this in a second. But most importantly, in our situation, yeah, when regular damage and shield crits, it's just double application. The number goes twice as big. That's usually what happens with dots as well, but the way that dots work is a little bit more unique. We also only have 2 super syrup slots left. We actually burned 8 ammo on this.
Yeah, you got plus 8% crit permanently for that one.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
So, something we haven't seen really in action yet, because all of our items were bronze. There's different rarities. We mentioned this earlier, but either which way, there's different rarities. This one was silver, and upon getting another silver barbed wire, we can bump that up to gold. So we're just gonna do that. Everything kind of works differently when it levels up. Some things just get more damage or shielding in the case of like Chris Army Knife. Some things get a like cooldown, go down kind of thing. And some things like barbed wire make the scaling part of the item get stronger. So now we really are incentivized to run that because that is really good. Alright. So let's kind of just do that for right now. Let's take a look at our options. Barrier protocols, not that great. Okay, so we've got a couple things that are upgrade. Upgrade leftmost bronze tier item. So we're actually going to be mostly spending time upgrading our core here, because when we upgrade the core, the shielding of itself goes up, but also the amount of shielding that it gains every activation will go up. I believe it goes to 10 at silver tier, which is just 10 more damage to this thing. And if it crits, it's an extra 20 more damage. Actually, I think it ends up being 40 more damage, because then it also can, the damage can crit. You know what? That is why it's insane when it crits. I didn't even think about that. That's double application,
Yes.
so it's basically quadruple damage.
Yes.
That's a little spooky. We're gonna go and see what our weapon skills options are. They might not be very good. I mean, 3 gold for 2 crit. Strength sucks. Left-handed doesn't work for us. Let's spend 3 gold for 2% crit. Alright, we're gonna have an empty slot on the board. Don't like that. Or we take relax if we just want a hard purse to win.
You could hard force the day 3 win with relax. It is the opportunity cost of losing monster loot. Monster loot being the event that gives you 2 high tier loot items. It's very good for long-term scaling. But because of that force field you have, taking the relax is essentially choosing to win the day at the cost of that long-term scaling.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I kind of touched on at the very beginning, we're going to take this. One thing I kind of touched on at the beginning is it doesn't matter when you get your 10 victories. And typically the farther you go into the days, the harder it's going to get wins. So you really do kind of want to just get as many victories as you can, kind of thing, as fast as possible. There's no, unlike if you've ever played TFT, where sometimes there is a advantage to losing a fight, there is really no advantage to losing fights on in the Bazaar.
You gonna be okay?
Holy shit, dude.
There was a 1 in 3 chance of that happening.
Uh, yeah, that's really fucking funny. I love it, dude. This really does have the potential, especially if you get the relax event prior to a fight. Force field's just insane. The cooldown is only 4 seconds. It's a little bit lengthy. You kind of want something closer to like 3 seconds to start the fight usually, but 4 is mostly just average. So you could a lot of times get a shot off before anyone even hits you, which means you're just getting the full brunt of that relaxed shielding. And then it crit there, so we just did 800 damage. Anyway, we've got some options. The Docs has the options. Do we?
So,
What
the
do you
Tox
think?
Clocks. So, Tox Clocks, of course, has the haste, slow, and cooldown items. This is the stuff that either will make your stuff go faster and therefore speed up your board, or slow down the opponent's board so that your stuff goes first that way. Both have their options. The Docs is interesting because on top of getting just 2 extra gold, which 2 gold is nice, you also get an item from one of 3 different tags. The thing about the Docs is those items for this event are not tied to your character pool. They can be any item with that tag in the game, which is where you start getting into things like, what some people call off-spec items. Just stuff that you have a harder time getting a hold of because it's not in your pool.
Yeah.
And
I believe we're gonna go for that, so I'll let you continue.
Yeah, at this point in time, we have basically the bones of our build, which means we're looking for utility items and stuff that can kind of really help us out that maybe Julie doesn't have in his pool. So, like, common things we'd look for in this one is a shield item to, like, maybe build the shield up a little faster if you get, like, a fast shield item, or a tool. Because a lot of tools have very good, like, utility that you might find. Like, yeah, we could have gone to the haste merchant to get a haste item, but that would give us access to, like, one of Pig's haste items, or maybe one of Vanessa's haste items, or maybe even some, like, different options for slows, or, healing or something.
Yeah.
Like,
It could give us something funny like Silencer, which is a Vanessa item, which reduces the cooldown and then provides some damage if you have one item or one weapon alone. Right now we have 4 weapons, but it would open up the funny idea of a low cool. Oh wait, this is not Silencer's not a tool. Whatever.
Silencer is not a tool.
It should be. But like things like that, you kind of like get once you start mixing and matching someone else's pool. We're gonna go for shield, by the way. But once you start mixing and matching other people's pools even, is when things can get kind of funny. Fixer upper.
This is not something that you usually run. This is one of Pig's items, and this is an example of, like, one of Pig's big themes, which is economy. So, obviously, upgraded versions of items sell for more than lower tier versions of items. This item automatically upgrades itself at the end of every day, meaning if you get it at bronze tier, because it's a large item, usually that would cost 6. And if you hold it in your inventory for 3 days, it will go up to the highest tier of diamond, which sells for 24 gold. So the idea is, for this, you don't even necessarily need to run it. It is an item that you would hold to make yourself money to buy stuff you might want otherwise later.
Yeah, like, we've got 20 gold. We don't really care about selling this right now. We're perfectly fine with just letting it sit here and gain value. We also messed up. I think upgrading the core was still the correct play, but we really want to upgrade our super syrup, because this refills the charges of the super syrup, and also upgrades the permanent increase to 2%. So we could gain an additional 20% of crit from that. Let's max health pretty okay. Chocolate bar is also fine, but let's take a look at our medium items. Here we go. Armadillo is what I was kind of looking for, I believe. Let's grab it.
Yeah, Armadillo's on the correct van. It is another item that benefits from shielding going off. It charges itself, meaning it takes 2 seconds off of its cooldown every time a shielding item applies itself to you. So, with that in mind, the Armadillo can go off very quickly in a build that runs shields or has ways to apply shields quickly, and therefore he can be a very rapid source of damage. And there are ways you can make Armadillo kind of a carry for shield builds by himself, but here he just is a good secondary condition if for whatever reason the force field doesn't do what it needs to.
Yeah, like if basically we're facing a burn build, one thing that's kind of mentioned here, but we're not really talking about it. The dots apply in different ways. You might have wondered, why is there a burn and a poison kind of dot? You know, if it's just dots. So burn does go through, or burn needs to eat through shield. Poison ignores shield entirely. But burn has to eat through a shield, and it does half damage upon going through a shield. Main difference is burn will also tick twice per second, and will kind of, what's the word, dissipate, incrementally fall off on every single tick. So if you burned for instance, 10 burn, the next tick it would go down to 9, then 8, then 7, and falls all the way down to, you know, nothing again. Whereas with poison, again, it ignores shields, and it just actually continuously will stack. The main difference is it will only proc once every second instead. I'm not sure if there's anything else we really want from this shop. I'm gonna hit refresh and see if I can get wowed. There is there is the boy, Security Cameron, on deck. We're gonna take him, I believe. Brick Buddy's also really fucking good.
But Brick Buddy is good here specifically.
No, it's not really good here. We don't have any friends really to run.
You got Armadillo.
We do have Armadillo Chris Army Knife.
Armadillo next to Brick Buddy is actually very strong because the Brick Buddy will trigger the Armadillo, and the Armadillo triggers the Brick Buddy.
That is true. It's very true.
But the bigger issue you run into is you don't have board space.
We will. Don't worry about it. No, we won't. But don't worry about that. What we're gonna do right now anyways, though, is we're getting ready to go into PvE, so we're just gonna do this. It doesn't really matter what we do here. We'll probably beat the PvE.
The real answer is you should go for the Boiler Room Brawler because of time to tinker. If you get time to tinker, that's very good.
We don't haste.
Time to tinker isn't hasting, is it?
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was. Oh, I thought that was whenever you use an item.
No, when you haste, gain shield. But Dooley has a lot of ways to haste.
Yes.
But also, Crow's Nest is funny.
Crow's Nest is funny, yeah.
It's probably Boiler Room Brawler though. Boiler Room Brawler has this skill. Just like we said, when you haste, gain shield. He has a couple things we also kind of like here. An Evil Talisman would be nice. Haste Potion's also decent. Don't care about the rest of this really. Sharpening Stone's also fine. Now out of syrup, but it doesn't disappear. We're gonna be able to hold it in our backpack. We don't care about this at all. Let's just get it out of our bag so we have space. More importantly. Upgrade. There we go. Let's refresh our stacks on that. Put back in here. Now, what do we want? What are we thinking here? We could run Armadillo buddy. Or
There's
security cam.
Oh, yes. If you run the Brick Buddy, you could also run Chris Army Knife. Just for now, obviously there's another friend called First Aiden that is faster cooldown and hastes that would take that spot. But yeah, those are your two options really. And there's also the idea that maybe the Armadillo isn't the one, and you do something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of... I don't know. The main thing is, when we've got 66% crit, we're really kind of just banking on a one-shot at that point.
Yes.
Like, the only other thing would be... like this.
Yes.
Which... not the worst thing I've ever seen, but also not very good. Huh.
Now the alternative here is you could, of course, always run the Super Syrup in PvP and try to greed. Just
might honestly
because...
just be the best choice. That's the funniest part.
Yeah.
Alright. We're gonna try that. We're gonna... God, I really feel like I should dump something.
You're probably not using barbed wire. And you can use that to sell to get your premium loot.
So, funny thing about monster loot is it's basically free. You do have a literal free option. No matter which one you pick, this one costs 8 gold, but you will always get more, or at least you will get 8 gold back worth in the worth of the items. Holy shit, this is so fucking high roll, it's unreal. Okay, so when we sell Insect Wing, we reduce the cooldown of our leftmost item. Let's do that real quick. We are not going to have you on there, so it would be funny. Oh, it doesn't even matter. It's everything. Anyway, 6%. Cool. This is down to 3.4 now. Awesome. Let's take relax. And this pig is in for a treat.
I'll be surprised if you get a single tick of your Super Syrup.
It goes off first. No, it doesn't. God damn it. Everything else is cosmetic. It doesn't even matter. Okay. We've got an interesting one. What were you thinking?
I was gonna go ahead and explain monster skills. Obviously, there's different types of skills. They have tags just like items. Monster skills are skills that are only found on the PvE monsters. Like, normally you have to beat the monster and get the RNG to get it, unless you get the rare chance of finding this vendor who can hold it. Now, one of the other things that happens with skill vendors is if you've already got a skill in your pool, it drastically increases the chances you'll find that skill again at a vendor. They very highly prioritize you getting those upgrades over brand new stuff. So, like in this case, because we already have hard shell, we're being offered hard shell again, and just like items, when you buy 2 skills of the same rarity, it upgrades them.
So, I just brought up the website. By the way, one really neat thing, but also, in a sense, kind of frustrating thing, I'll explain my thoughts on it later, but there is a website that the devs made that shows everything, that how items upgrade, everything like that, even skills. So hard shell, from bronze to silver, goes from 20% to 30% of your max health. It's nice. It's probably not the craziest thing, but honestly, out of all the options we got here, it is the best one. Panic doesn't actually work here because you permanently lose ammo. So there's nothing to reload. Rust is nice, but it's only one item. It's kind of whatever. And Pickpocket just kind of sucks ass. So we're gonna grab Hard Shell. My reason that I kind of don't like that there's a site, I shouldn't say it that way. The fact that there's a site is really nice, but I don't like that I have to kind of consult the site to find the things that I want to find. It would be nice if there's a way that I could just search through items in the game, or if, for instance, most of the skills do show, for instance, like a 3 and then an arrow to the 6. Not all of them do, like Hard Shell didn't show a 20% going to 30%. But it's not the most egregious thing in the world, it's just little things. So we can find gold skills from Orlin. We don't have any gold skills. Also, that would be 12 gold. But we basically have our build already, so it kind of doesn't matter. I'm not sure if we're gonna find something we really care about. There is no, there is. There's defense grid. Own strike.
I would not.
I don't think Hone Strike is really worth it here. Yeah.
No, it is not.
Because the main thing is, again, we're kind of just going for a one shot. We don't want, you know, this is something for, like, it's decently, like, this, it would be nice for, like, Chris Army Knight for the Uzi, you know, because it's gonna be attacking a lot more times and ramping the crit. This is a potential going from 66 to 71, basically, and that's the whole fight. There's not really anything here we want. We'll just move on. Another nice thing about the website is it also shows the monsters. I'm pretty sure I just want Gorgon Noble. But we can go and we can look over on How Bazaar. Do a monitor capture real quick. Move this over. And I can go, the current day is day 5. And we can take a look at, like, Harkuvian Rocket, or what is he called? Yeah, Harkuvian Rocket Trooper. You can see all the items that he has, all the skills that he has. Might be okay, honestly. Shadow Cloak's kind of okay here. Heavy weaponry, also good. Flashy reload has some off-spec chance of being pretty good. I'm down to take that, actually. Okay. We're not building up our shield as much as we were before, but we're done being attacked, so it doesn't matter.
You did get quite a few procs of Super Syrup. You got through half of it.
Yeah.
So definitely. You got 10% more crit permanently on your force field, which is very nice.
Yeah, up to 76% now. What do we have? Upgrade leftmost silver. I think we're just gonna upgrade the core. We still have half of our usage on that. That doesn't seem wise. Security camera.
Alternative is, yeah, the security camera would give you 10% more crit right now.
Yeah. So the main thing is, if we can get a ton of crit, I'd really like to just be able to drop security camera. So I'm kind of down to just not focus too much on that. But we don't care about... We don't really care about goggles. Get that shit out of my face. Let's take a look at our skills we can get. Some haste charge skills. Got some decent ones. First 5 times you shield each fight, charge an item. 1 second. Pretty good. Captain's Charge, first time you use a large item, haste adjacent items for 4 seconds. This is not that great in this instance. It would haste our Super Syrup, which would be funny, but not really necessary. Quick Freeze is really good, but we don't have any haste at the moment. So we kind of don't want that. We're actually just going to take Electrified Hole because we do shield a bunch of times. Charging is pretty nice. We'll just grab it.
And we can ignore them.
What are we going to do here? Probably not run Super Syrup. As funny or as sad as that is. But we can run Brick Buddy. Oh, do we just take our max health and run? I think so. Alright, so Vanessa. It's probably gonna have relatively bursty build. We have a lot of shield though. Most of her builds revolve around raw damage or burn. So should kind of be fine here. That is a lot of raw damage. She has Petrifying Gaze. Annoying. Also the Link Shin hit just then, but doesn't matter, we're good.
Hard Shell did come in clutch there.
It did. Allow us to kind of beat the hell out of them pretty fast. Yeah, I think this is going to be kind of our mid-range build at the moment. Pretty okay. Yeah, I'm down to run that. Let's get rid of that. Opens up the opportunity of a higher quality version showing up later. We're also gonna get rid of Armadillo because yeah, we're kind of not worried about that. Let's take a look here at maybe something off spec. What do we have that we could think of getting that are off spec items?
There's quite a few. Tools obviously has stuff like Sextant in it, which would be kind of funny to have. One of the bigger things you'll need to look for and realize is that you're missing one of the bigger pieces of the Exodia for this build, and that you don't have Defense Grid to give yourself automatic shielding at the start.
True, true.
So you may need to find a way to just build shield up over time. Pyrocarbon is an option.
It's not really what we're looking for. And we get an upgrade item. But what the hell do we want to upgrade? I don't like that. I don't like being forced to make this choice. God, do we just upgrade the Super Syrup?
It would reset to 10, and it would gain 3% each, so the Super Syrup would become potentially 30%, which, if you got all the charges, would cap your force field with the camera.
That is true. It would not make the difference of literal crit capping.
The other options, in my opinion, are also the security camera, just to get the extra crit immediately, or the Brick Buddy, because the Brick Buddy gains the better shielding per proc of a friend next to it.
And I think I'm gonna.
So those are your kind of three options there for what was good to upgrade.
Yeah, I think without us having Defense Grid, we're gonna have to actually rely a little bit more on Brick Buddy, which means yeah, we're looking for like First Aid and a faster firing friend than Chris Army Knife, even though it's getting down there, but it's not that great. Yeah, we'll just grab some insect wings if we can get them.
Rush would also be a good grab to get.
This is the wrong
that's
one.
Paralyzing Rush. Oh yeah.
Okay, got a couple. We're up to 50% now. Without security Cameron on the board. And take that insect wing. What else we got? Might as well just be cooldown reduction on the core. Do not have a lot of good options here. Okay. Do that. Take our bonus fight here at the Mount Pass.
Unfortunately, we kind of low rolled. Some of the PvE fights are a little
Strong.
harder than others. The Lich in particular is hard to beat. Technically possible, but 95% of builds are not going to beat the Lich, unfortunately.
The funny thing is, since the Lich is mostly poison, we might be able to just ramp our damage enough. Stop fucking freezing me. Get fucked. Hell yeah.
So the Lich is also a legendary monster, which means he was worth 5 XP compared to the normal, 2 to 3. So we got a pretty big bonus boost in both experience and gold for winning that fight. Like, that puts us well ahead of the curve.
Yeah, absolutely. Rare item, well, not rare, but item specific to the Lich, well, common core. You can't find this in any normal shops. We don't really care about this item, but it's cool. Let's grab 2 gold tier. As you can see, yeah, we're leveling up again already. We're gonna grab more shielding. Apply that to our... Nice, we got 2 fucking gold cinders. Thanks. We're gonna hang on to those. We might find a burn item. We don't need the money, so we don't really care. And being able to
other alternative
use these is funny. But
the other alternative is there is another mechanic in this game called enchanting. And there are various enchantments where you can kind of change what items do based on the enchantment you give it. One of those enchantments is burning, meaning you can give an item that normally doesn't have burn, which if we were to say create a burning force field, then those cinders would boost the enchantment on that force field.
yeah, so that's part of the reason why I was saying we can hang on to it. As she said, there's a different enchantments for different things. If I pulled up How Bazaar again, for instance, we could take a look at items, force field. Okay, so then here at the bottom are all of our options of different enchantments. Normally it's random, but you can have a slowing effect, slow 3 items for a second, ice, slow an item for 2 seconds, haste 3 items for a second, shielded. If anything has, for instance, if we had a fire item or a burn item and we put a burn enchant on it, what it does is it doubles the amount of burn that you have, or doubles the amount on it. So for us here, since this already has a shield, it's double shield. Restorative adds a heal to it, toxic adds a 6, poison to it, fiery adds a burn. Shiny is a interesting one that will give multicast, and then deadly gives 50% crit. There's also obsidian, which will give lifesteal. Lifesteal works in this game by simply just being 100% lifesteal, like just what the damage is done is what you heal. It's pretty simple, but not really what we're concerned with here. So anyway, let's we're pretty rich here. Let's go fight this pig.
Is the pig big enough?
We'll see. No. That is he is not tanky at all, really.
That is a pig that is specifically going for the same type of build as you are, because pig has a similar item to force field and spiked shield. Unfortunately, Spiky Shield is not as cool as Force Field.
Yeah. Spiky
It
Shield
has
is
a
a
long-
2-slot thing, so its downside is the fact that it is an 8-second cooldown. Meanwhile, we have a 4-second cooldown with 80% crit, which is scaled down to 3.2-second cooldown because we've hit, and we're super lucky. Bottom text. We're just
For a channel callback, some might even say sample text.
no one's saying that. We don't talk about that here. I'm just fucking selling this. I don't even feel like talking about this item. That sucks. That just looks like dog shit.
Tossed Helm is good on Pig, which is the item that the character is intended for specific builds. Pig has a lot of builds that rely on very sort of slow but powerful items because that's kind of the style they want to go with Pig, which contrast with Dooley, who uses a lot of
Fast firing items that all haste each other usually.
yes, and while the effects may not be very big on their own, they often combine to create stuff that is much larger than the sum of their parts.
Yeah, like Monitor Lizard is the best example of that. Obviously, it's something that it applies its poison on haste triggers, so you get a lot of haste triggers, and that cascades into that thing literally going off 5 times a second. Anyway, we are actually for the first time going to the eating contest where we can get some chocolate bars. Chocolate bars get sold for health. You can get some free ones. This is 50 HP, this is 100 HP, and this is 150 HP, effectively. We're rich. We're gonna grab the premium ones. Sell these, 30 each. Look at that. Big health. I'm gonna go to the Cosmic Rock, I believe? Or the Treasure Turtle. We don't care about the Treasure Turtle, do we?
Treasure Turtle has some interesting stuff. The rock, however, does have 2 copies of the gold feather, which is a lot of board-wide cooldown reduction when you sell it as a loot item. So you have the option of the turtle, which has some very, very good things for your build synergistically if you hit, or the rock, just to try and have an opportunity to power up what you've got now.
Let's actually gamble a little bit. I don't even know what this thing has offhand. Shield items have plus 12 shield. First time you fall below half health. This is literally just the same thing. So we can get hunkered down and hard shell for shield 30% or 60% of our health. That'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, you also have a chance to get a magic lamp, which is a type of item that there's like a couple of them. You sell it to get a special event.
I was really thinking for a moment we were gonna get something exciting. We get seashell.
Yeah, unfortunately, Seashell does not really work with Dooley. That is a Vanessa item and works on stuff that has the aquatic tag. Really, only Vanessa has easy access to stuff with the aquatic tag.
I think she actually is the only one at the time.
Yes.
Maybe later, but now I'm curious. Show advanced filters aquatic.
Aquatic is a Vanessa specific tag. Yeah, unless you're Vanessa,
yeah, there's nothing.
You're only getting a hold of aquatic items by beating a PvE fight or getting it from the docks or something.
Yeah. Anyway, we are getting some gumballs here. We haven't explained what these are. Gumballs, you get 10 of them. Well, each one costs 1 gold. They give kind of tiny buffs, but big one that we care about right here is the blue gumballs. They give 1% crit to all of our items. Boop. There's an extra crit. Yellow ones, also pretty nice. Gives 1 shield to all of our items. These ones give health. Also, can't really complain about that. So one thing to kind of pay attention to, though, is usually when you're buying things. The gumballs I've noticed, for instance, if my board was full right now, and I bought this with 1 remaining, it would, I spent the 1 gold, it would not give me the gumball, obviously, because I have no space, but it would end the event. This does not happen if, for instance, there were 2 gumballs left, but not not important right now, but I've had that happen to me a few times. Not worth mentioning at least. We only got 2 blue gumballs. Kinda lame. Max health, core cooldown. Don't really care about that. Upgrade the core is nice. Yeah, let's... What?
225 health is 225 health.
It is a decent amount, but...
It's a 10% health upgrade.
Yeah, but this is also extra shielding, and it's also what I'm going to take.
Okay.
Let's just go for the monster loot, get the premium again. Let's see what we got. XP vial. Easy. And some regen. Both decent. Vanessa.
Adjust your board.
No. Fine. Oh, this is literally out. Okay, I guess maybe I should, huh?
Yes.
All right. We should probably also, again, still be... I don't know. I don't know how much we're going to struggle with any fights. So far, we haven't lost a single one. This is one of the meta Vanessa builds. If there's one Vanessa build that's going to beat me, it's probably this one.
I do not like how they have that positioned on their board. That's a little gross to me. I get it, but whatever.
Yeah. They're minus 10 damage, but the cooldown still works.
Cooldown still hits. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird.
Main engine behind that item, or behind that board, was that Crow's Nest, which was over here, is just a passive thing that gives a bunch of crit chance. You have the Cutlass, which is your only item, your only weapon, that does double damage on a crit. Basically, it does quadruple damage total. So, when it crits, it does big fuck off damage, and is scary. We're gonna get some more gumballs, by the way. Maybe we're getting there soon. TM on the cap of crit. A couple more blue ones.
It's getting to the point where if you could still upgrade your super shirt, well, you can. Your force upgrade at level 11.
But it wouldn't really be worth it.
Well, if you wanted to drop Cameron, yeah.
Yeah, because it'd give you 30.
Because it would upgrade to 30. Yeah, so you'd go up to 92 if you could find another 8% crit somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Really funny to me that this has 66% crit. Oh my god, that's kind of gross.
The super syrup is a funny item to get a hold of.
It really is. Especially if you can actually get, like, it upgraded as well. We're gonna see what we can get from some shield skills. This does not have the one that Nikki was talking about that shields you at the start of the fight. But electrified hole is there. Probably just what we're gonna take. Yeah, sure. We don't really care too much about any of these. Cosmic Rock again. Nice, but I think we just kind of want to... Well, it's only a difference of 1 XP. We'll go for the Cosmic Rock, because we don't need money either. We're praying for these feathers. Keen Eye, also nice. Cosmic Wind's not the worst option either. We don't want either of these things. We have a lot of misses. We got one of the misses.
Double check that. Isn't everything a miss in this build?
It's...
yeah.
We don't have... Yeah, we'd have to find a way to give it haste, and it's even when... It's not really that much crit. We can keep it in our bag. Maybe we find something kind of interesting, but I don't think we're taking it. I guess also we're just taking core cooldown again.
Yeah, no, like, probably not, but, like, Dooley can find funny ways to give things haste.
Yeah, for sure. We're just gonna go for more max health. I'm gonna take the free ones this time. Sell our chocolate bars. Get a shield item, get some skills, small, large items. So, you might have wondered why some of these shops, I'm just like, you know, especially as a new player, what a lot of people do, kind of a trap that they fall into, is they just go to every like item shop they can. Yeah, because they're just like, I want whatever cool item that I can find. Fair enough. They also kind of like fish for upgrades by doing so. Some of the shops are obviously worse than others. Midsworth, for instance, I think is not usually very good. Basically, all of the shops that carry 2 types of weapons, I think, are not really the best option to go for most of the time, because their pool of items is just too large, and oftentimes you're not going to find what you're really looking for. At maximum, I believe, I think if it's all small items, you can have 4 items show up in a shop, and then refresh it and get 4 more items. Most of the time you're only getting 3 items in a shop, so then upon refreshing it you can get 6 in total. And to pull from the entire pool of small and large items for 6 items is kind of not great odds. That's why I tend to avoid it. Same thing is kind of the case for these ones, where it sells skills, sells bronze skills, silver skills, gold skills. They don't really guarantee you getting what you want, but we're going to go to Nufu anyways, because he could have pretty much anything we want. Big numbers too. I mean, it's just that easy. You know,
one of the things to note with that, though, is, as I mentioned earlier when I first introduced skills, when you buy a skill and put it in
adds to your
pool,
pool, basically, and it has a higher chance of showing up again, as big numbers did.
Yeah.
But we want this, without a doubt. We're taking it.
Yeah.
We're now crit capped. We could consider running something other than security cam run. We would not have 100% crit, but it opens up some options. So we're gonna keep it for right now, but keep your eye out. We might have something funny that we'll do. I was gonna mention, when you hover the character or the opponent, you can see like what their board. Yeah, you can do it here. So this person's on last breath. Actually, it gives us the option here. No, wait, that's an item you can just get as a drop. They're not on last breath.
They're not on last breath. They might have just gotten very low.
Yeah. Gonna kill them anyways because we're broken. They're also a pesky Pete truther. The truth is, pesky Pete sucks. Bottom text.
I hate that you've just put that joke into the world. It's expanded beyond just the
You and
dumb
I.
shit we see. Yes.
Bet you'll be surprised when that comes in handy.
I mean,
It works.
it at least works. I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm also gonna get rid of Super Syrup. I don't think we're gonna worry about upgrading it. Weak point detector sucks. Power Jewel's not very good here. Do we just go to Nufu again? I think we just go to Nufu again. He might have defense grid. Again, that's the one we're kind of fishing for. Don't want left eye. We want right eye. Let's hit a refresh. We don't really care about any of those. There is right eye. Not only that, but it's pretty much by far the best option we have. 97% crit, we no longer care about this, so we can even now consider something else. I don't know what yet, but we can consider something else. Probably a friend. A friend would be the first thing that we want.
Yeah, like your first aid and still is the best thing you could possibly get. Another fast-acting friend, like Dooley has a million of them. His friend
Missiles.
Cole is missiles would be very good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's missiles.
Missiles. Yeah.
Missiles is a 3-second cooldown that double casts. But, I mean, weapons platform has a ton of stuff that we want here. It has Aiden. We can get Aiden. It has a battery. Battery's also really nice. You can get another Uzi, honestly. A gold Uzi is really good. We're just gonna assume that we're not going to lose this fight. Yeah, we're fine. I was a little worried for a moment, but we're fine.
If you ever get low enough, you will just trigger hard shell, and then your thing should finish it off.
True. So now we have a forced upgrade at level 10. And I believe we're probably just going to get Diamond Brick Buddy, honestly. This guy's kind of like our big scaling. So we're just going to take that, upgrade it to Diamond. And Tox Clocks. Show me Aiden. Duct Tape's fine. Bomb Squad's a friend. Get that shit out of my face. Bomb Squad. Duct Tape. Oh.
That is the closest you're gonna get. It's
such a small difference. It kind of just doesn't matter, but
one of the things that can happen in this.
The funny thing is, it's actually this, by the way.
It is, yes. One of the things that happens in this game is there's a lot of items that care about adjacency or care about things that they are next to or other stuff on the board, which means one of the parts of actually building your board is understanding the placement of everything. You can't just chuck it all on there. Like, we went over this a little bit with the core itself, where things to the left of it charge it and things to the right of it get boosted by it. This is also true of things like the duct tape, which normally it's just when it goes off, it just slows an item for 2 seconds. But whenever an adjacent item activates, it shields for 10. Or like even the Bomb Squad, which has a friend, when a friend adjacent to it activates, it charges itself for 2 seconds. So a lot of the once you get to a point, one of the bigger things that you have to figure out with creating your board is how does everything position so you can actually get the most efficiency you can out of those sort of positional bonuses.
Right. So in this instance, we're kind of just maximizing Brick Buddy. Brick Buddy is kind of our big damage ramp here. More shielding he grants, more damage Force Field's going to do. We've kind of hit the point now. Obviously, we're almost crit capped. We're at 97 out of 100. And what we really just need now is the shield to get there. It's not gonna really get there on its own. Adding duct tape here will allow the armored core to buff duct tape and force field effectively. This is basically just adding damage to force field, because this will go off, this adds shield, then that shield is applied to the damage. So this applies a lot of damage ramp. The main skill that we keep on talking about, what is it called even? Defense Matrix or something? Defense Grid.
Defense Grid is...
It's basically what it does is it starts the fight with a shield based on your max health. I believe it's 20% at its starting one. Or maybe it's 10% at its starting one. Either way, it basically
skills are also something you can look up on Bazaar.gg and show the class.
Correct. I could, but that requires me to switch scenes, which I'll do right now, I guess, because my darling assistant has decided that's what we're doing. A defense grid. At the start of each fight, gain shield equal to 10%. Let's zoom in a little bit here. At the start of fight, gain shield equal to 10%, 20%, 35, and 50. Holy shit. Okay, so this actually gets kind of wild towards the end. But now, since we are so late into the run, there's a good chance we're just going to see it like gold. That is the wrong scene, by the way. That's the correct scene. Alright. Anyway, we've sat here for a minute. Let's, we don't really care about any of these. Again, we're... I think we're just gonna get an item. Like, seduction ages? That's not happening either. It's at least funny, but yeah, we're not running this. Main thing we're looking for is probably first aid to replace Chris Army Knife, I believe here is
I'd
the
replace
best
Bomb
place.
Squad.
You think so?
Yes.
It's
Bomb Squad.
close. All right, Vanessa, what do you got? Are we just gonna one-shot this? Two-shot it, maybe even? We get frozen here at the start, pretty much. No, we're not. He doesn't even... Oh, yeah, never mind. Got heat shells. But this is just raw damage. Oh, shit. Hello, Harpoon. Goodbye. It was looking a little questionable, not going to lie.
Hard shell came through and they couldn't break through it fast enough because you'd already scaled Brick Buddy and your force field up quite a bit by that point, so they couldn't break through the shield, and then when obviously you crit for their entire health bar.
Yeah. Got an upgrade for duct tape. Doesn't really matter too much, just we don't really care too much about money anymore. Again, looking for first aid and not getting it. Feels bad. What do we have here?
I will say coolant was potentially a tech option there if you faced a dually and thought it might be a burn dually, because coolant does kind of hose burn dualies.
That is true. Friend fast firing.
You're not gonna find much in Street Festival for that. The closest you'd get would probably be something from Vanessa,
which she doesn't really have something fast. It'd be like Narwhal.
It'd be Narwhal, yeah.
Which doesn't feel very good.
No.
Burn skills, there might be something funny here that we can get. Even though we aren't burning right now, there is some things you can get. Unfortunately, we did not get any. There's ones that are like, when you use a large item, burn. We technically have a burn item here, but we're talking about getting rid of it. So it's not really worth it to get fiery, for instance. Kind of unfortunate because getting burn skills, I feel personally, is really strong. But yeah, we're just gonna lean away from that. This fight has something called Juggler as one of the skills, which when you use a small item, it will charge your large items. So, what we're going for. Might have something funny here. I don't know what.
The funny thing would be putting Venom on your force field.
Like, not even good.
No. No, it's not.
They're literally just haha funny. Junkyard Lance. Yo, let's go, dude.
It'd be a funny pivot.
There's no way. But it does have a lot of damage even right now. But get that shit out of here. Don't tempt me. Let's just get some more scrap.
Yeah, Junkyard Lance is a item that is not in any of the characters' regular pools. It is a loot item, sort of. What it does is it looks at all the small items in your inventory, including in your storage pack, and at diamond level, which is what Dashy just got that at, it gives you 100 damage per one of those. So because you can fill up, what is that, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you'd add 8 more plus 3 more in your bag. So that's like 19.
Oh yeah,
19.
No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 7. It's 17 because you'd have to run it on the board, and then if you had everything else was a small item, then yeah,
you'd have the item itself would deal 1,700 damage.
Didn't find anything of interest here really. Okay, so Court Freezer's funny, but not here. Is it really just gonna be Bomb Squad? The answer may surprise you. If none of this shit fucking matters either. You had to literally run this for 2% crit, making it I'm not going to. But it's an option.
The other option is literally Tracer Fire and actually make Bomb Squad useful.
Sure. You're right. So true.
Also sell your cinders.
No.
Oh well. That's fair.
This could just be the last fight. If we just win this, then we just got a perfect victory. We are up against Monitor Lizard, though. But Monitor Lizard's not going to be able to really scratch our shielding. Will we die? No. Goodbye. See you in hell. Etc. I can't believe I just decided to try to do this and we get a diamond victory.
Sometimes you just hit.
Sometimes you do in fact just hit. Yeah, anyway. I mean, yeah, this was pretty high roll. Obviously. Main thing being could have found some better things aside from Chris Army Knife and Bomb Squad. Don't worry about the UI thing here, by the way. Early access game, by the way. But yeah, this really kind of showcases the strength of Force Field. Especially if you can get it on Armored Core. This is really funny. Could have had something... I mean, you can technically also run it on, like, Companion Core, because that would proc Brick Buddy a lot easier. And a lot more often. You can scale it to the moon a lot faster. But not as necessary. This is the real, true one-shot dually build, basically. Unfortunately, we did not get to see the big funny with the defense grid and literally one-shotting immediately, but we did get to see it in some of the earlier days with the using Relax to just simply one-shot. I mean, I think it was day 2, right, where I got to use Relax, and I just literally... Was it day 3? Okay. Where I just crit and one-shot the pig, and I was just like... skull emoji for a minute. Anyway, so upon getting your 10 wins in a normal, you can get a ranked ticket. If you played ranked at 4 wins, 7 wins, and 10 wins, you would get a chest. But either which way, that was the Bazaar. This is a game I've been enjoying a lot lately. This is also a video style that I've kind of thought of doing before, because I used to do it way long time ago, like longer than probably any of you watching have ever seen. But live commentary stuff is super fun. Trying to actually commentate what you're doing, I find to be kind of fun as well. But it's kind of hard to do in a live stream setting. This was also kind of an exercise for myself to be able to talk more about what I'm actively thinking about for anything, and I was able to do it pretty well for Bazaar, I would say. I'd like to thank my assistant here, Nikki / Skybane, for being here.
It's what I do.
Yeah. Friend of the show, stream manager, I guess. She thinks that she's like my manager. As a VTuber.
Did you post your schedule yet?
I did not. She's just not imposing enough. But she does her best. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Do you have anything you want to say as part of the sign-off?
You know, just reminding you to pimp your socials a little bit.
I did that at the beginning.
Do it at the end too.
Yeah, if you guys enjoyed, let me know. Obviously, again, never streamed this game, never made any content on it before, but I've been enjoying this game a lot. I've been playing it for about a month now, and I feel like I'm fairly knowledgeable at the game. Not really super good, but I have fun with it a lot. If you guys enjoyed the content at all, you can just let me know. Follow the stream. Links are all in the stuff down below. We got Blue Sky, we got Twitter, which we don't use anymore really, but you know, it's there. We've got the VOD archive channel down there as well. Hit up all the socials. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.